let's talk about iron for your infant who's between the ages of 4 months and 6 months. So why is iron important for an infant's body? So iron is what is a key component of hemoglobin, and hemoglobin carries oxygen to all the tissues of the body, to the muscles, to the brain, to the heart. So we need as much iron as possible to be able to have a baby that's growing strong and has a good development of the brain. So what we found out is that if you don't focus on iron at an early age, that when we screen for iron deficiency at 1 year of age, a large number of American children, no matter how they are fed, breastfed or formula fed, will be deficient in iron. The consequences of that, if it is not detected and not treated, include having a low IQ and having some developmental delays. So the signs and symptoms of iron deficiency are not obvious even until it is at an extremely low level. This is the reason why we screen for iron deficiency at the 1 year checkup. So let's backtrack then to how do you prevent iron deficiency? So the way you prevent it is by making a plan for solid food introduction that includes iron-rich foods at an early age. So in general, we recommend, and the American Academy of Pediatrics also recommends, the introduction of complementary foods, solid foods, baby food, table food, around 6 months of age. There are some infants that seem ready for solids before they are 6 months of age, and there are some that are at high risk for iron deficiency, and they might actually start iron-fortified cereals at 4 months of age. In general, though, solids don't get started robustly until around 6 months of age. If you do introduce iron-fortified cereals at 4 months, you would give this on a spoon, not in the bottle, and you would mix the iron cereal with either breast milk or formula or just a touch of water. And there's not really a minimum per day. If you do start at 4 months, you would just do a few spoonfuls 1 to 2 times per day. If you give too much iron fortified cereal in that 4 month time range, it can lead to constipation. The infants who start solids at 6 months and do not start the iron fortified cereals at 4 months, they can have perfectly normal iron stores if they start high rich iron foods right away at 6 months. The American Academy of Pediatrics, through the healthychildren.org website, actually recommends meats as the very first food if that is culturally appropriate for the family. There are many families who do not eat any meat, and there are other ways to get iron that I'll talk about in just a minute. For the families that do eat meat, it is a wonderful source for both zinc and iron. And babies at 6 months can be started on diced, pureed, smushed meats as one of the first foods. So examples of meats are ham, turkey, chicken, pork, beef. Other sources of iron would include fish, because really when I say iron, I kind of mean blood, which is not great to think about, but that's what iron is. The best absorbed iron comes from the blood vessels of the animals and the fish that we eat. So you can eat pounds and pounds and pounds of greens and beans before you would get the same amount of iron that you could get from just a few bites of a meat. So the key is to find what texture of meat and what type of meat your child is ready to eat at 6 months. This has to do with how strong their necks are. Do they have any teeth? Are they chewing with their gums? You do not need teeth to be able to eat meat. The children typically chew with the sides of their mouths, not the front. And then it's a matter of introducing those different types of meats to them more than one time. In general, I prefer a method of solids introduction that is more baby-led. So with baby-led solids, you have food that's already on your adult plate that you dice up, smush up, and give to your infant. So you don't make special food for your baby. You eat the food of your normal culture, of your regular family, and then you just take small portions for them. They would either self-feed those sources for iron, or you could give some with your fingers or with a small spoon. So the iron that comes from meat is, if you introduce that at 6 months and they get one source every day, they will not be iron deficient. They should not at 1 year of age. Other ways to get iron. So if your family does not eat meat, and there are plenty of families that are on a spectrum, vegetarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, pescatarian, and vegan, there's a wide variety of people who eliminate different pieces from their diet. You can still find iron sources. The best source is a cast iron skillet or the lucky iron fish. It is really not reasonable to think that a 6 to 9 month old could get enough iron from leafy greens to maintain the iron requirements that they have. The volume of vegetables that an infant that size can consume does not contain enough iron. So the best way for vegetarian spectrum to vegan families to get iron is from cooking foods, cooking sauces in a cast iron skillet. So a non-enameled cast iron skillet, the iron will go into the food. The other way, for anyone who has a grain-based diet where they are boiling water every day for pasta, noodles, rice, couscous, any type of grain that requires boiling water, then you can add the lucky iron fish to the pot of boiling water, and the iron goes into the water and into the food. So this will help raise the iron levels of everyone in the family.